Have you ever looked at your blood test and wondered why your creatinine keeps rising, even though you're doing everything right? Eating healthier, cutting salt, drinking more water, trying to take care of yourself the best way you know how. If that question has been circling in your mind, you're not alone. But if your creatinine has been inching up year after year, I need to warn you, gently but urgently, something serious may already be happening inside your kidneys long before you feel a single symptom. Because here's the truth most Americans never hear until it's almost too late. Kidney damage rarely starts with pain. It starts silently in the foods you trust the most, foods doctors, magazines, and nutrition trends have praised for decades. Foods sitting in your fridge right now that may be quietly pushing your kidneys toward exhaustion, day after day, meal after meal, without a single warning sign. And while you're trying to stay healthy, your filtration rate might be slipping faster than you realize. I've seen it happen to thousands of patients, and it breaks my heart every time, because none of them saw it coming. I'm Dr. Richard Hale, and I need you to hear this next part clearly. You are not helpless, and you are not doomed. The same science that exposes these hidden dangers also reveals the gentle, kidney-safe proteins that can lower creatinine, calm inflammation, and rebuild your filtration strength naturally. And in the next few minutes, I'm going to show you exactly what those proteins are, how they work inside your body, and why one small change in your daily meals could become the turning point your kidneys have been waiting for. So take a deep breath. Stay with me. What you're about to learn may change the way you think about healthy eating forever, because your kidneys deserve more than survival. They deserve a chance to heal. The first hidden danger I need you to understand is something most Americans still believe is nutrient gold. Organ meats, liver, heart, kidneys, all those old-fashioned cuts that were once praised as superfoods packed with iron, B vitamins, and energy. And yes, when you're young, your kidneys are strong enough to handle them. But after 50, things change. I learned this the hard way with a patient named Robert, a 62-year-old retired engineer who walked into my clinic exhausted, swollen, and confused. He wasn't eating junk. He wasn't drinking alcohol. He was doing everything the old health books told him. 2 servings of liver every week because he believed it would strengthen his blood. Instead, his creatinine had doubled in just 6 months. When we looked deeper, the culprit wasn't the protein itself. It was the purines packed inside these organ meats. Inside your body, purines break down into uric acid. And when kidney filtration slows, even slightly, uric acid doesn't leave your body. It crystallizes. Imagine tiny shards of glass scraping through the delicate filters inside your kidneys, irritating them, inflaming them, scarring them, one meal at a time. You don't feel pain, you just feel tired, heavy, bloated. Maybe your urine looks cloudy. But inside, the damage is stacking up, and the science is impossible to ignore. A study from the National Kidney Foundation followed over 23,000 adults above 60 for 5 years and found something alarming. Those who ate organ meats 3 or more times per week had a 38% higher risk of reduced kidney function. Not a coincidence. Not bad luck. Chemistry. The purines flood your system, the uric acid rises, and your kidneys pay the price long after the meal is over. But here's where it gets hopeful. You don't need to give up these foods completely. If you choose to enjoy them, soak them in water with a splash of vinegar for 30 minutes before cooking. This simple step reduces a good portion of the purine load and makes the meal easier on your kidneys. Cook gently, keep the salt low, and your body will thank you. But only knowing this first danger isn't enough, because what comes next is even more surprising and far more common in the average American kitchen. There's another healthy protein millions trust every day, and it may be pushing your creatinine even higher. If organ meats quietly strike the first blow, then red meat delivers the second, and it's far more powerful than most people expect. Because unlike organ meats, which people consume occasionally, red meat shows up in the average American plate week after week, and the danger isn't loud. It doesn't come with sharp pain or dramatic symptoms. It creeps in slowly, almost politely, until one day your energy is gone, your legs feel heavy, and your lab results no longer look the same. I saw this pattern clearly in a woman named Linda, 58 years old, who came to me believing she had finally mastered healthy eating. She cut sugar, avoided fast food, took daily walks, and proudly swapped fried meats for grilled steak twice a week. She thought she was doing everything right, yet her creatinine continued to rise, visit after visit. She looked at me one afternoon, frustrated and exhausted, and said, "Dr. Hale, why does my body feel slower even though I'm trying harder?" The truth was hiding in her so-called healthy dinner. Red meat contains saturated fats in a form of iron called heme iron, both of which ignite low-grade inflammation throughout the body. When these fats reach the liver, inflammatory cytokines are released and sent directly through the bloodstream to the kidneys. And once they arrive, they irritate the glomeruli, the microscopic filters responsible for clearing waste. Think of it like turning up the pressure in an aging water pipe. It may hold for a while, but slowly the walls weaken, tiny cracks appear, and eventually the whole system struggles under the strain. That's what was happening inside Linda's kidneys, silently meal after meal. The research is undeniable. The Nurses' Health Study, one of the largest in the world, followed over 52,000 adults and discovered that individuals eating red meat 4 times a week or more had a 42% higher risk of chronic kidney disease compared to those who consumed it sparingly. Not genetics, not fate, just daily inflammation pushing the kidneys toward decline. But there's an easy way to lower the damage. Marinating red meat in turmeric and lemon or vinegar for 20 minutes helps break down harmful compounds and reduce inflammatory load. Cooking it gently rather than charring it preserves protein while protecting your kidneys. But knowing this alone still isn't enough, because another factor disguised as light and convenient may be stressing your kidneys far more than red meat ever could. And if red meat is the slow-burning fire that feeds kidney inflammation, then processed meat is the gasoline poured directly on top of it. This is where things get dangerous because unlike steak, which people may eat once or twice a week, processed meat hides everywhere. Sandwiches, breakfast plates, deli counters, grab-and-go snacks, even healthy turkey slices. And many Americans switch to these foods believing they're making a smarter choice. Leaner, lighter, cleaner. That's exactly what Harold, a 71-year-old retired school bus driver, thought when he proudly told me he'd replaced red meat with turkey ham and smoked sausages. He smiled and said, "Dr. Hale, I barely touch beef anymore." But when we looked at his labs, his blood pressure was soaring, his phosphate levels were high, and his eGFR had dropped nearly 12 points in 4 years. He wasn't eating junk food. He was being misled by the illusion of healthy convenience. The real threat inside processed meat isn't the protein itself. It's the additives. Sodium nitrates, sodium phosphates, preservation salts, ingredients designed to keep food shelf-stable and flavorful, but brutal on aging kidneys. Sodium forces the glomeruli to push harder, like an overworked pump straining to keep up. Meanwhile, inorganic phosphates enter the bloodstream rapidly, binding to calcium and forming tiny crystals that stiffen blood vessels and accelerate kidney aging. You don't feel this chemistry happening. You just feel the symptoms: more swelling, heavier legs, unpredictable blood pressure, and a creatinine number that keeps sliding the wrong direction. And the science behind this is staggering. A study in the Journal of Renal Nutrition followed more than 1,500 older adults and discovered that those who ate processed meats 3 or more times per week had an average eGFR decline of 12 mmol after 4 years. 12 points may seem small on paper, but for your kidneys, it can mean the difference between stable function and early-stage disease. But there is a simple way to reduce the burden. Soak bacon, ham, or sausages in cold water for 10 minutes before cooking. This small ritual washes away up to 30% of the sodium and helps remove surface nitrates. Cook at moderate heat, never over-crisp or burn them, to avoid additional toxins. But knowing this alone still isn't enough, because something even more deceptive is coming next. A daily habit most people believe is harmless, yet may push your kidneys toward exhaustion faster than any food you've seen so far. And if processed meat is the gasoline that accelerates kidney damage, then full-fat milk is the silent weight pressing on your kidneys from the inside. Quiet, subtle, and easily overlooked. This is the part almost no one ever suspects, because milk has been marketed for generations as the symbol of strength, comfort, and bone health. But what looks harmless in a glass can turn into daily strain once your filtration rate begins to slow. I saw this most clearly in Margaret, a 65-year-old retired librarian who visited me twice a year. She had cut out red meat. She avoided processed foods. She walked every morning. She truly believed she was doing everything right. Yet every appointment, her creatinine crept higher. She would smile and say, "Dr. Hale, don't worry. I replace my snacks with a glass of whole milk every morning. It keeps me strong." She meant well, but her kidneys were begging for relief. The hidden problem in full-fat milk isn't the calcium or the vitamins. It's the casein, a dense, heavy protein that creates more nitrogenous waste than aging kidneys can comfortably handle. Think of your kidneys like a washing machine motor. When it's new, it can handle heavy loads all day long. But after decades of use, a constant heavy load wears the motor down until it struggles, overheats, and eventually breaks. That's what casein does to older kidneys. It forces them to work harder, longer, and with less rest. And the signs show up slowly: morning fatigue, swelling, brain fog, heavier urine. But inside, the filters are straining. Scientific data backs this up. The Framingham Offspring Study tracked more than 1,700 adults over 60 and found that those who drank 2 or more glasses of full-fat milk per day had a 33% higher likelihood of losing more than 5 millimani of eGFR over 6 years. 5 points may not sound like much, but for kidney function, it's the difference between stability and decline. The fix, however, is simple. Dilute full-fat milk with warm water, about 40 to 45 degrees, and stir in a small pinch of cinnamon. The warmth helps break down casein, making it easier to digest, while cinnamon provides gentle anti-inflammatory support. Drink it alongside fiber-rich food to slow absorption and ease the load on your kidneys. But knowing this alone still isn't enough, because something far more powerful and far more healing is waiting next. And after understanding how full-fat milk can quietly overwhelm your kidneys, here's the part that surprises most people. Not all dairy is harmful. In fact, one specific combination can shift your filtration rate in the right direction faster than many people think. It isn't fancy, it isn't expensive, and it became one of the most reliable tools I've used with patients over the years. Plain unsweetened yogurt paired with freshly ground flaxseed. I first saw its impact in Ellen, a 64-year-old retired teacher who walked into my clinic carrying years of bloating, fatigue, and unpredictable creatinine numbers. She had cut out milk after learning it was too heavy, but she struggled with digestion and inflammation. When I told her to start her mornings with half a cup of plain yogurt topped with a spoonful of ground flaxseed, she hesitated. "Dr. Hale, isn't dairy bad for my kidneys?" she asked. I smiled and said, "Not this kind, and not when you use it the right way." 2 months later, she returned with more energy, less swelling, and an eGFR increase of 7 points without a single new medication. The transformation wasn't magic, it was biology. Unsweetened yogurt provides live probiotics, good bacteria that rebalance your gut and decrease inflammation. When the gut is inflamed, toxins like ammonia and urea leak into the bloodstream, forcing the kidneys to work harder. But when probiotics rebuild the gut lining, that burden lightens. Then comes the flaxseed. Ground flax is rich in omega-3 fatty acids, lignans, and soluble fiber. These compounds lower inflammation, stabilize blood sugar, and bind excess phosphorus in the intestines, so less of it reaches your kidneys. Together, yogurt and flaxseed form a synergy that reduces inflammation from both sides, the gut and the kidneys. Research backs this up. A large study on aging in the gut microbiome followed over 1,800 older adults and found that consuming unsweetened yogurt at least 3 times a week was associated with a 7-point average rise in eGFR within 12 months. Those who added omega-3 rich seeds saw even more improvement. The recipe is simple. Half a cup of unsweetened yogurt, 1 spoon of freshly ground flaxseed. Let it sit for a few minutes and eat it before heavy meals to maximize absorption. But knowing this alone still isn't enough, because another powerful ally is about to take center stage. And this one works like a microscopic army protecting your kidneys from the inside out. And once you understand how yogurt and flaxseed can calm inflammation from the inside out, the next ally works like a microscopic army: chia seeds. Tiny, quiet, unassuming, but extraordinarily powerful when it comes to supporting aging kidneys. What makes chia seeds special isn't just what they contain, but how they protect your kidneys from constant attack. I saw this most clearly in Thomas, a 60-year-old accountant who came into my office looking defeated. He had cut salt, avoided red meat, drank more water, even walked every evening. Yet his creatinine refused to budge. He sat across from me, rubbing his knees, and said, "Dr. Hale, I'm doing everything I can. Why do I still feel this tired?" When I reviewed his diet, one thing stood out. He had completely eliminated omega-3 fats. His kidneys weren't just filtering waste, they were battling inflammation without backup. So I gave him one simple instruction: soak 1 tablespoon of chia seeds in water for 15 minutes every morning and drink it before breakfast. He chuckled and said, "That tiny stuff? It won't do anything." But 3 months later, Thomas came back with brighter eyes, better energy, and a creatinine level that had dropped by 0.4. His blood pressure normalized, his swelling reduced, and he told me, "I feel like someone finally turned the power back on." Here's why. Chia seeds are loaded with omega-3 fatty acids, antioxidants, and soluble fiber. Omega-3s reduce CRP, a major inflammatory marker linked to kidney damage. Antioxidants protect delicate kidney vessels from oxidative stress, and soluble fiber slows sugar absorption, stabilizes blood pressure, and helps your body flush waste more efficiently. When chia seeds absorb water, they form a gentle gel that soothes digestion and supports consistent hydration. 2 things aging kidneys desperately need. The science behind this is solid. A landmark study in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition followed more than 150 adults over age 50 and found that consuming at least 2 grams of omega-3 from chia daily led to a 25% lower risk of chronic kidney disease progression over 3 years. Not a supplement, not a medication, just food doing what the body recognizes best. Here's the method. Soak 1 tablespoon of chia in a glass of water for 15 minutes, add lemon if you like, and drink it on an empty stomach. But knowing this alone still isn't enough, because the final protein has the power to transform how your kidneys heal. And once you understand how chia seeds work like a microscopic defense system, the final protein completes the healing process from a completely different angle: blood flow. Because kidneys don't just need less inflammation, they need oxygen, nutrients, and smooth circulation to repair themselves. And no food delivers that combination more powerfully than mackerel. Not salmon, not tuna, mackerel. I learned this truth through a patient named Robert, a 67-year-old retired engineer who came to me feeling like his entire life had shrunk into a list of restrictions. He had cut red meat, avoided salt, quit processed foods. He said, "Dr. Hale, I feel like I'm surviving, not living." His blood pressure was stubborn. His creatinine hovered too high. His hands were always cold. His circulation was clearly struggling. So I suggested something simple but strategic: 2 small servings of baked mackerel each week. He laughed and said, "Fish won't fix this." But 3 months later, everything changed. His eGFR had improved by nearly 6 points. His blood pressure stabilized. His energy returned. His face looked brighter. He told me, "I finally feel like my body is waking up again." The secret lies in the omega-3 fatty acids, specifically EPA and DHA, found abundantly in mackerel. These compounds reduce inflammation in blood vessels, increase nitric oxide production, and help the glomeruli become more elastic, improving filtration efficiency. Better blood flow means more oxygen reaching the kidneys, and more oxygen means better healing. It's like giving your kidneys room to breathe again after years of suffocating under pressure. And research backs this up. The cardiovascular health study followed more than 170 older adults for 4 years and found that those who consumed oily fish at least twice a week had a 28% lower risk of chronic kidney disease progression. Their creatinine levels stabilized, their filtration improved. Their kidneys aged more slowly, simply because their blood flowed better. The key is preparation. Bake mackerel in foil with a few slices of lemon and a drizzle of olive oil. This preserves omega-3s and prevents oxidation. Avoid frying, which destroys the good fats. Pair it with steamed vegetables or quinoa for balanced phosphorus levels. But knowing this alone still isn't enough, because what comes next could determine how fast your kidneys truly heal. You've made it all the way to this moment, and that already tells me something powerful about you. You're not someone who gives up on your health. You're someone who wants to understand your body, protect it, and take back control before problems grow bigger. I want you to remember this because it matters. Every small change you make, one smarter protein, one better morning habit, one mindful choice, can shift the direction of your kidney health in a meaningful way. You don't need perfection. You just need consistency, patience, and the belief that your body still knows how to heal. And if today's video opened your eyes, taught you something new, or gave you even a little clarity, I encourage you to save this video so you can come back to it whenever you need guidance. Your kidneys work quietly for you every single day. Think of this video as something that works quietly for them. And if you haven't yet, make sure to subscribe to this channel. We share the latest science, practical tips, and kidney-safe strategies every week. Information that could help you lower creatinine, protect your filtration rate, and avoid unnecessary complications. Turn on the notification bell so you never miss a moment that could strengthen your health. Before we close, let me leave you with this. Your kidneys may be quiet, but they are listening. They respond to every act of care, every better choice, every moment you decide to treat your body with patience instead of pressure. Healing doesn't always happen overnight, but it does happen with hope, discipline, and faith in the long game. You deserve energy. You deserve clarity. You deserve a body that supports you, not one that limits you. Stay committed, stay curious, and stay hopeful. Your best health is still ahead.